Welcome to the In The Works podcast, where we'll be giving you a behind-the-scenes view of what is happening in the world of Stormworks.io and Stormworks Studios. We're going to be covering the lessons learned, the products that were shipped, and stuff that's happening behind the scenes in the business. So kick back, tune in, and let's get into it. Okay, welcome back to the In The Works podcast. Today we are joined by two guests. As always, Connor Watt, my business partner, and extra special guest today is the one and only Joseph Pickering. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So Joe, for anybody who's not familiar with Joe's profile, Joe's been working with myself and Connor in Stormworks Studios for 4 years now?
Up to 4 years.
And you've just taken on a new role, right?
Yeah. So from coming in as a video producer 4 years ago to leading in the video department for the past 2 years, and now stepping up to managing director.
Excellent. Talk to me a little bit about it. How does it feel? How's the journey been for you? And what does the future look like as well?
I worked in sport for the past 8 years, previously at Birmingham City Football Club. Joined them at 18 years of age, grew the ranks as an apprentice, up to producer or video producer, then came into what was previously NAS Media back then, 4 years ago, as a video producer. Learned on set a whole lot more at NAS, with what was then a huge team. And then grew through the ranks, made head of video about 2 years ago, learned a whole lot more. To then, this year, managing director. So, really exciting opportunity for me personally in my career. Love being on set, love the business, love the company. We get on really well as well, which is always great. Going forward, try and grow the business as much as I can within that sports area. Got a couple of things that I want to do and create this year, a couple of ventures that we want to do. But really excited for the future and where the business can go.
Yeah. No, I'm pleased. I'm super chuffed for you, and it's well deserved and well earned. I remember when you first came in for your interview, suited and booted, looking dapper. Even then, your ambition was like all the way up here, and it's well deserved. So, what do you see for the next year then for Stormworks Studios?
Yeah, well, no, firstly, thank you to you two for putting your trust in me. Obviously, I know this is your guys' baby, and coming on 4 years ago as well. I've always said to you two, I feel like it's now a part of me as well.
Our baby. Yeah, we're like a three-way couple.
A couple, three dads.
Polyamorous, three dads.
Yeah. So now it's something, we've all got something in there, putting enough time in there. So remember at 18 years of age coming in to make sure that I shook everyone's hand in the office. I remember there was about 10 people in there, and I went and shook everyone's hand, looked everyone in the eye. I said I was going to do that beforehand, coming full suited and booted. But the future, I think is really exciting. I think the world of sport is changing for the better, and especially in video production and within the agency world. There's a couple of big sports brands that I want to get into, one of them being Adidas. So spoke to you guys before. A big goal for me this year is to really get involved with those guys. I think some of the productions and some of the content they're putting out there is really good, and I think aligns with what we do and our look and our feel as well. So that's a huge push for me this year, is to try and get in with those guys. Got a couple of shorts, scripts that have been written by us and produced in-house that I want to get off the ground. So they're in pre-production now, but I want to get into shooting them this year. In our space, that season ticket campaign and video kit launch campaigns are huge for us, and something that we all really enjoy doing. So again, make a real big push on those. I know we've done obviously Aston Villa, Birmingham City in the past, but want to try and increase that scope to the Premier League. I know obviously Aston Villa are in the Premier League, but try and increase that scope to other Premier League clubs. Can we go into Spain? Can we go into these other areas? So trying to push that side of the business, and then commercially trying to make more sense to people. Try and help that out as well. our commercials, our numbers and stuff like that, all our internal processes, try and improve those. How can we be more streamlined? How can we be faster in our pre-production, in our post? So yeah, those are just a few things to mention. There's a lot going on, but no, really exciting. We've had a really good start to the year so far. A couple of contracts have closed already. So yeah, it's been really good.
Awesome. I just want to pick up on something you said there. So you mentioned about some kit launches that we've done over the years. I know it's something between the three of us we've spoken about at length. There's been a lot of kit launches that have been created over the many decades of kit launch releases. And, I know we've had a lot of conversations about, from a kit launch perspective, how do you break the mold? How do you do something different? How do you actually stand out? So, for you guys, open question, what do you think makes a good kit launch? What do you think brands should be doing, sports brands should be doing to differentiate?
Yeah, I can go first. Well, fundamentally, I think kit launches are one of the biggest pieces a club can do throughout the year. So it's one of the ones where you want to put a bit more time in, you want to put a bit more effort in, because ultimately it drives huge commercial revenue to the club itself. It gets a lot of eyes on it, and it's also becoming a bit of a piece throughout the year where everyone's looking at, what X club has done, what Y club has done, and competing and trying to have a little mini competition in how big and how kind of impactful they can be with their kit launches. I think fundamentally it's got to be true to the club at the end of the day. You can't do something where it's kind of cut and paste, and it's in a studio, or you've got a few players pointing at a crest, and the same kind of style and pacing that you see a lot of the time with. Ultimately it comes down to, I think, budgets, and that for some clubs will kind of have to do. But when you've got a bit more to kind of put into it, and I think more clubs should do this, becoming more media brands as well these days, is something true to the club. Can you bring in the city? Can you bring in something that's completely novel and unique in the way it's filmed? Can you bring in any kind of cultural elements in terms of the people from the city, or icons of the club, or trying to get the spirit of the place that you're actually kind of a part of, and a bedrock of the community essentially is what a football club is as well. So I think it takes, obviously, from a production point of view, understanding the club, understanding the players, understanding the history, understanding the sports space as well, knowing what's been done before, how you can kind of come at it from a different angle, and yeah, that's kind of a brain dump of how I kind of see it. But how you do that essentially is, obviously you've got your ideas of what you can do. The club are going to have their ideas, and there's always going to be that kind of push and pull of how to balance it. At the end of the day, you need to kind of sometimes be a mind maker upper, and kind of stay kind of strident in your views of how you kind of see it. But ultimately you're going to have to work with the club on that. And some clubs we've worked with have been great. They throw a lot of good stuff into the mix, but then what you have to kind of manage is kind of too many chefs in the kitchen, and kind of making it not lose kind of the core essence of what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I think you mentioned there having something novel, but fundamentally it's a activity which is there to drive revenue. The selling the shirts is a huge commercial opportunity for a football club, but it's looked at as just that, whereas actually what it can be, and I think what we've always strive to do and encouraged sports rights holders to do, is think about it as more of an opportunity to make a statement of like, this is our brand and this is what we're about, because it's one of those few times in the year where you can really create a piece of content that's a bit of a statement piece as well. But what do you reckon?
Yeah, no, totally agree. I mean, how often do we hear the kits will sell out anyway? And they will. Every time a club releases a new kit, especially home and away, fans are going to buy it. They love it every season, no matter what the kit actually looks like. For a fan, it's a way to get behind your club. And you go on holiday, you wear your club colours, so they will always sell out. But I think you mentioned it a little bit then, Connor, is kit launches and season ticket campaigns have almost become their own sort of like little mini league in themselves. of who's doing the best kit launch of that summer, who's doing the best season ticket campaign of that summer, who's doing the craziest ideas. And sometimes when you see that, other clubs follow suit. And I mean, look at the likes of Newcastle last season. Really, really good video. Spoke on the culture of the city, the culture of the club, spoke on the icons, was black and white, just like the kit. It was a really strong campaign, and a few others followed suit. So I suppose it's a really hard thing to balance. You've got to come with a strong idea and a couple of ideas. I mean, how many ideas are in our ideas graveyard? There's too many to count, and a few that we mentioned that are now really popular and we mentioned before they came out. But yeah, it's hard. Kits are always going to sell out, but for a club and a rights holder, it's your chance to stand out in that mini league of people releasing kits and people are releasing season ticket campaigns.
So talking about kit launches then, one particular club that we've done a number of kit launches in that I know is very close to you in particular, Joe, but also all of us having, built a business or multiple businesses now out of the city of Birmingham. We have done some kit launches for Birmingham City FC. And what I wanted to tackle next is give the viewers a bit of a behind the scenes view of Birmingham City FC, because for anybody that doesn't know, Joe had a rich heritage of working at the club before the Nighthead takeover. And, us as an agency have worked with the club during that pivotal time when they had that buyout from Nighthead. And it's been quite astonishing for me, like as I've watched it from an outside perspective, but then getting a bit more of an inside view, what it was like when we very first went and met them versus what it's like now is like a totally different place. So let's talk a little bit about that. How was it before the takeover? What was the club like internally? What was the video department like?
Yeah, I mean, even before working at the club, I was a fan for the past 18 years before that as well. And yeah, it's a club that's been through some up and downs for sure. But
they keep right on, yeah.
You are sorry.
They keep right on there.
Yeah, keep right on to the end of the road, as they say. But yeah, when I joined, it was in a bit of a weird place. Obviously, our previous owners were in, but they weren't looking to pump a load of money into the club. They'd already spent a whole lot. And the video department was one of those departments that felt that the most. We had a team of 3 of us, so me, Craig and Callum, and yeah, we had a massive focus on the broadcast side as well as the creative, so we was pretty split. We was going and creating training montages all throughout the week, little pieces to put out on socials to help player profiles, and then also on the weekends we were also doing match days. So it was like hard graft, but it was such a good experience at that age to just be thrown in the deep end within video production, and you kind of had to learn a lot really fast because there was no time to kind of fail. But yeah, there was a team of 3 of us, and I remember we all went to West Ham. We were playing West Ham in the cup, and we walked into their video department to speak to somebody. I can't remember. We had to get a cable off someone, and they had a team of 25, and we couldn't believe the amount of people that were in this video department. People were editing, people were backing up footage, people were planning shoots, and we seen it, and our eyes lit up. We couldn't believe that this is what a video department actually could be. Normally it was just us 3 in a little edit suite, crowding around a singular Mac. One of us was backing stuff up, one of us was editing. Yeah, it was crazy. So fast forward to now, where the video department is, and where the club is it's in a completely different space for the better. Nighthead have completely transformed the club, both budgets, department-wise. That's not just video, that's all across the club. I mean, look at the catering now, how much better that is. We've had some experience of that as well. The commercial side of things as well. It's just been times 1,000, which is really good to see as a fan and also somebody who's worked with the club quite closely. But yeah, it's gone in a real positive direction. I think it is going to continue going in that direction as well, which is not just great for the club, but great for the city.
100%. What's your take?
Yeah, and I think just adding to that is when you've got football clubs and new owners coming in, it's obviously quite a treacherous position because you don't really know their intention while they're getting into football. But you can see firsthand from the words that Team Nighthead is saying, but fundamentally the actions that they're taking, you can see it completely transform. And I think it's really reignited the fan base again. The culture around the place was a little bit flat before, whereas now the fans are, as this goes out, not having the best run in the championship, but obviously that can all change. But the positive sentiment around the club, the fan base is massively on board again, selling out pretty much every single home and away game again. Whereas, we were going at the start and, there was empty seats in places. The whole stadium's completely transformed from, even the pre-match, from when the players get on there's fireworks going off. It just seems like a completely new place. So yeah, it's incredible to see, and I think it also just lifts the city as well. The investment they're putting into it, obviously with the sports squad that's come in, the plans they have for just like investing in the community, investing in local businesses, and just building the city as a whole. I think it's incredible to see, and it kind of goes back to just how important football clubs are to also the region that they're based in, and how much impact they can have. It's effectively like a cult follow. It's like a religion in a way for some people, and it has so much impact on the people in the city. And to have Birmingham City back, being successful, investing in the pitch, having the money, having the ambition, and also executing on them it's incredible to see. And we've been lucky enough to be around it from working with them, but also the people in there, the leadership team, and how they've gone about trying to change the culture of that club it's really, really good to see.
Yeah, I mean, I second that completely. I remember, sorry, pardon me. The first time that we went in there, the three of us, it was like we were in one of the hospitality boxes, and it was a bit dingy, and we were chatting with the team there, and you could tell there was so much enthusiasm and graft and willingness to like get stuck in and desire to move the club forward, but they'd just been so under-resourced for so long. There was like a bit of a dampener in the culture. People were like feeling a bit defeated, and I think when Nighthead came in, it just like switched almost instantly. The sentiment around the place, and obviously it didn't overnight completely change. I know they spent a lot on renovations, even to the existing stadium, which I think kudos to them, because obviously with Sports Quarter and the amount of money that they're going to spend there, it would have been easy to say, well, we're just going to defer spending money on the existing pitch. But they basically took the playbook of what Wrexham did and said, look, we're going to take a club that's got huge potential, we're going to attach a star to it and blow this thing up. And I think, fair play, like, they have done good on that over the years. I think to your point as well, the leadership, it's had a few evolutions since we've been there, but, somebody that is in that leadership team right at the top in Jeremy Dale, I think we've worked with him on a number of projects. I think he's a top bloke, and he's a good guy to be in charge of that club, proper fan, serious operator. And I think, he's the right person to be at the helm at the minute.
I mean, you look at my granddad and my uncle, who always go to the games, will be able to say, look at 4 years ago, and there weren't even hot running water within the club. We'd go for a coffee or a drink at half time, and they wouldn't have any. They'd all be sold out. Fast forward to now, and honestly, like when you walk into the stadium and just into the grounds and the surrounding areas, you can't believe what's actually happening. Like, if you would have said this to us 4 years ago, you would have said no chance, especially with the likes of maybe Lawrence Bassini potentially coming into it as an owner, and look at the chaos around that as well, and how Nighthead have transformed the whole entire club. Yeah, I just think going forward, there's nothing that Blues can't strive for now, especially with the backing of Tom Wagner and Tom Brady and everyone involved. Stephen Knight, Jeremy Dale, all people at the top of their game who are best suited for the job roles they're in. So yeah, it's going to be a really good ride, I think.
I mean, I put a post on LinkedIn a couple of days ago that the slogan that Birmingham City went out with, when the Nighthead takeover happened was Birmingham's on the rise. And, you know, the essence of the post was like, at the moment, it feels like that's the same for the city at large from a football scene perspective. You know, Villa doing really well on a championship charge, and Blues, they had a record-breaking season last season. The stadium development, you know, the Powerhouse Stadium release, the backing that they've got. And ultimately, you know, whichever side of the fence you sit on for your allegiances in the city, whether it's Villa or Blues, I think having both those clubs effective, being ran well and striving towards being the top flight is brilliant. You know, like you look at a Manchester or a Liverpool, it's like, I think how much benefit comes from having those rivalries and you know, the energy in the city, the hospitality capabilities of people that, you know, come and visit, and the tourism. So yeah, I think it's a really exciting time ahead for Birmingham City and the city of Birmingham at large from a football perspective. But let's dive a little bit deeper in, because I know we had a bit of a different opinion in the office about the Powerhouse Stadium. I know we've had a few conversations with people. Is it a bit Marmite? What's your take, Joe?
Yeah. So I have two views on it, really. The fan in me loves it. Loves the shithouse nature of it, because it's completely different. It's something that's never been done before, and I think Nighthead are trying to take that stance quite strongly. They're trying to implement stuff into the football club that hasn't really been done before in the world of football. I think there might be too many chimneys, just a few too many. But
how many's too many chimneys?
How many's on there right now?
What is it? Like
is it?
8? 10?
I think it's 8.
Something like that.
8 or is it 10? I don't know. But 3D renders are one thing. When it's actually up, built, people are in the ground, the stuff around it, the sports quarter's lively. As an away fan, as a home fan, walking up to that ground, I think there's no denying it's going to be something quite special. So I feel like now the 3D renders look a little bit cartoony, a little bit jokey. But I think once it's built, it's going to be massive. The heritage behind it's brilliant. It's something that's from the city. It has a meaning behind it. It's not just some soulless bowl that we see now in football. I think it's going to be quite cool.
I mean, like when it first was released, I was like, whoa, okay. Because, you know, as you say, like there's a lot of new stadiums that are put out there, and the renders, you're like, oh yeah, that looks cool, but it just looks like a stadium. Oh yeah, you know, very modern, very like cutting edge, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think it's actually really a big statement from the club to say, actually, we're going to do something that is going to be like a one-of-one style stadium. It's going to be an iconic venue in the skyline, and it isn't just going to blend in like every other stadium does. And I think it's a bit of a punt. I personally quite like it. I think the reality of when it actually comes into fruition, we'll see. And it does give a nod to the city's heritage of like the city of 1,000 trades and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, personally, I'm on the side of I like it, even though it's a little bit out there. You know, I think it does a good job of standing out.
Yeah, I was the same as you. When I first saw it, I was like, oh God. Like, I'm not, I couldn't actually believe it. I thought it was a little bit of a joke at first. And like your point, the renders, I don't think do it justice. I get why they've done it. Obviously, it's completely new. It's iconic, rightly or wrongly, whether you like it, you're going to remember it. What they're doing in the whole quarter itself is also interesting, with how they're going to be making more revenue from it, which is essentially going to be pumped back into the club and hopefully make them perform better on the pitch with the revenues. What I'm interested to see as well is, okay, from the outside is one thing, but the inside and how the bowl is, and how they've made the acoustics different, how they've angled some of the roofing down to make it louder, more intimidating for away supporters to come and away teams to come. I think that's also really interesting, not just from the outside perspective, but from the architectural point from inside the ground as well. So I'll be really interested to go and see it. And I think, the first few games there will be a I'm gonna have to try and get tickets for that.
100%. Yeah. I mean, like, I went and spent a little bit of time in the States in November and December this year. And, you know, I went to some sport games over there. I've been to a few basketball games, went to an NFL game, and it is, you can tell there's the influence from those American owners of like, we're going to do this fucking big if we're going to do it. And I rate the ambition for it, and you can definitely tell that kind of American influence, which is in that stadium.
I think they put a bit of an ambitious target on it as well, being a 60,000 seater stadium. Obviously now, St Andrews, 28,000. And we're selling out quite a few home games this season, obviously depending on form. But by putting a number on that 60,000 is really a testament to what they want to strive for. They want not just people within Birmingham, they want people all over the world to come and view this stadium. They want people to come and have season tickets, people to watch Blues. Blues wants to be an exciting team and they want people to watch them. So by putting 60,000 seats in there, and there's been so many jokes from every fan base, you couldn't fill 60,000. Look at 5 years' time and what Nighthead are trying to build. I think it's definitely possible. As I said, not just from the city, but from the outskirts as well. So yeah, they're putting a number on it. Also, it's commercial value of what else they're trying to bring in: NFL games, concerts, everything else associated with it. So yeah, it's going to be huge for this. It's going to be huge for the city, huge for the club, and I think it's going to be a real beacon. You'll be able to see it in the distance, all them chimneys smoking away. But yeah, it's going to be a nightmare for Santa, isn't it?
Yeah, it was going to be a nightmare. Nightmare for Santa, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I think, you know, you've touched on something really important there as well, which it kind of loops back to what we're talking about with the kit launchers. But essentially in sport at large, you've got an industry, let's just use football as a particular example, where formerly it was very much orientated around the athletes in the game. But what is fast becoming the norm is it's going from how do we take it from being sport to entertainment and commerce. And you can see this universally across the sport industry. But, you know, I think a lot of those kind of like, you know, middle tier football teams are a little bit behind and they're starting to turn the corner on it. Wrexham being a good example, Birmingham being a good example. And the development is like a prime thing to like add more commercial opportunities, whether it's naming rights for it. I know Tottenham are kind of splitting it into quarters with their stadium, and even with the kit launchers, it's like they're an opportunity, if you do a novel kit launch, to amplify the value of that sponsorship space. Because if you're Newcastle United, you do an absolute killer kit launch and it goes beyond just the normal fan base and it captivates the national audience, then it's way easier to tell the story around like, okay, if you buy a space on the front of the shirt or the sleeve or wherever it may be, you get much more visibility. But yeah, it's an interesting time. The world of sport is changing very quickly. Birmingham City is an exciting case study right in the middle of that. And what do you reckon, Joe? Do you reckon it's out of range to get promoted this season? Playoffs.
It's your away form, isn't it?
Yeah, I think. There's no denying our away form needs to be better. I'm Chris Davies in all the way.
Chris Davies is good.
Yeah.
We've spent time with doing interviews with him, recording content with him. He's a serious operator.
Me and Connor went to the 1875 club launch and he did a speech there. And I said to Connor, I'll run through a brick wall for this man. I swear to God, how good was he? He was like, he got me pumped. I was like, let's fucking go. I was like, let's. He was brilliant. The way he spoke, the way he comes across, and I think he's the right man for the job at the moment. I think we could make a push. Our away form just needs to improve. I think this January window is going to be really exciting. Some of the players that have been rumoured to come in, it's going to be really exciting. Obviously, we've got Leeds in the FA Cup as well on the 14th of Feb. Is there a way we can do a cup run? Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting few months, but let's see what we can do. I mean, the Championship this season is so volatile, and I think it's anyone's.
It is most seasons, isn't it? It's so competitive, that league. You can easily just go on a bit of a run, and boom, you're in the fucking playoffs.
Yeah. but like Carver, we're 15 points ahead. Couple of games have lost, couple of games people have won, and all of a sudden that gap starts to shorten. So, are they going to win the league? I don't know. Will Frank do it? I don't know. It's such an interesting time. I mean, something like Preston are up there. Preston, like it's the teams that are up there are crazy. But no, like, fair play to them. Like they're playing really well. But yeah, I think we can make a push. Our away form just needs to improve.
Yeah. Right. On that then, what's your final words for Chris Davies?
Yeah, I think he. I don't think he's going to listen to me, but maybe he should. No, I think
Who's he getting rid of? What January transfers are you doing?
Well, there's been talks of there's been talks of people coming in and then deals breaking down last minute with Abajuli Mane. I don't know if I've pronounced his name right. And
this is all you, mate.
Solis from Girona. So I think he's confirmed, but Mane, he apparently that deal's now broken down. So yeah, I think Craig Gardner's got a bit of a task on his hand to try and make a few more signings. But yeah, I think he needs to improve that away form big time. And I think if he can do that, we can make a real good push. And it's in there. You see how we play. We've got attacking players. We've got a real good attacking force. We've got a really strong defensive side. Our midfield's good. We've got a really good squad. He just needs to find a way to unlock that away form and make that a little bit better. But yeah, I think I'm Chris Davies all in. I think he's the right man for the job.
All right. We'll clip that up, send it over to him. Happy days. Joe, look, thank you for coming on the podcast. It's been an absolute delight, mate. And you'll be back on for another one very soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thank you.
Top man. Until next time. See you later.